Okay, so this video is going to go over the directions that were given to the classes in writing today. I know some families had power issues, so if you missed class, then you can watch these directions to see what you missed. If you were in class but you're a little bit confused by the directions, here they are again. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to the writing class, and in classwork, the assignment we're working on is mission essay, which is right here. Okay, so you would go ahead and open that, and if you have been doing your work in class, then your document would look a lot like this one here. We have a table with our 5 paragraphs numbered on the side. In class, we copy and pasted from our slides we had been working on our thesis statement into spot 1 and spot 5, so those paragraphs. And then in paragraphs 2, 3, and 4, you should have copy and pasted in your topic sentence at the beginning of each of these, followed by the piece of evidence that we wrote together in class. That's where you should be at. If you're not at that point, then you need to get caught up. Your assignment today for the mission essay is going to be focusing on paragraphs 2, 3, and 4. Remember, these are the body paragraphs. They're the ones that look like our paragraph hamburger, and they are the ones that contain all of our evidence supporting our thesis statements. Each of these paragraphs should contain a topic sentence and one piece of evidence already. We're going to finish those paragraphs by adding one more piece of evidence and then restating the topic sentence at the end. So what you need to do is you need to go to your sources. You have a packet of primary sources that we have been taking notes in for this project. And you need to look through those sources and look at your notes and find an additional piece of evidence that would fit the topic sentence of each of those paragraphs. Remember that when we add evidence, we are doing so in the form of either a paraphrase or a direct quote. When you do a paraphrase, you're writing what the source said, but you're putting it in your own words. You're explaining the source said this, and make sure you're attaching that to how does it prove your topic sentence to be true. Even though we're paraphrasing and not copying directly from the text, we include a source number. Where did that information come from? If you're using a direct quote, you need to put quotation marks around the words that you're copying from the text. Remember, a direct quote is copying exactly what the text says. It doesn't need to be copying an entire paragraph. It could just be words or parts. But anytime we copy someone else's words, we use quotation marks and a source number. Do not just insert a direct quote, though, all by itself and say done. In class, we've been learning about the procedure for not doing quote bombs, because that's what a quote bomb is, if we just drop a quote in there and leave it there with nothing explaining it. You want to avoid that by using the things we practice in class, where we begin by introducing our direct quote. Usually that means explaining who is the speaker or writer. Then we're going to insert our quotes. If we need to provide context, we can. Our source number. And then we want to also write an additional sentence following the direct quote sentence that explains how does that quote tie into our topic sentence or the main idea that we're trying to prove in that paragraph. So as you find your pieces of evidence for your essay and you choose if you're going to use a direct quote or a paraphrase, you would then go back to this assignment, back to your copy, and you would begin by clicking at the end of what you've already typed or inserted into these paragraphs, and you would add your next piece of evidence, either in a paraphrase or a direct quote. That's the first step. Make sure you include your source number. And then we're going to finish off this paragraph by restating the topic sentence. I'll say restate. Our topic sentence, remember, is the very first sentence of our paragraph. It explains the main idea of that paragraph. This paragraph I wrote right here, the topic sentence is, the establishment of the missions had some positive effects on the lives of Native Americans. I want to repeat that same idea at the end. We don't want to copy it directly, but we want to get the keywords and key ideas in there. So you might, for your restatement, say something like, these examples show that the establishment of the missions had some positive effects on the lives of Native Americans or Indigenous people, if you wanted to use a synonym. Then you would be done. So you're adding your next piece of evidence with the source number and restating the topic sentence. You're going to do the same thing for paragraphs 3 and paragraph 4. That is your assignment for today. If you do not have your packet of sources, you're going to have to use what is posted in writing class. So without your source packet, you're going to need to go back to the writing class underneath Native Americans and Missions opinion essay. If you go scroll down, there's source 2 notes, source 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 total sources. When you click on these, you can open up a photograph of the work we did in class together. And you're going to have to use the sources this way. There is not a source 1 because our textbook is source 1. So you could also use your textbook as a source, and everybody should have a copy of that. Hopefully you understand. Remember, it's not about getting everything perfect the first time. We're learning how to write essays. We're learning how to use evidence, cite sources. The only thing I ask is that you try, you put in some efforts, and then we learn from any mistakes or any confusion we have. Okay, get it done.